When it comes to credit card points, Ultimate Rewards points from Chase are one of the most valuable and flexible points currencies available. This is because they give you access to some of the best hotel and airline transfer partners, as well as a very easy to use travel portal that allows you to cover a variety of travel costs, including hotels, flights, car rentals, and more. Even if you don't like to travel, there are plenty of other solid redemption options, some better than others. And so it's important to learn and understand the different redemption options so that you don't accidentally choose options that devalue your points. So whether you're new to redeeming Chase Ultimate Rewards points or a longtime Chase cardholder, this video will explain how to easily redeem points in ways that are most valuable to you based on your lifestyle and preferences. Now for this video, I'll be using my Chase Sapphire Preferred card as the primary example, but I will also be sure to point out key differences in redemption values if you have the Chase Sapphire Reserve, the Ink Business Preferred, or any of the Chase Freedom cards. Now the most common metric used to compare different types of redemption values is the cent per point value. Now this metric isn't perfect, but we use this metric because it's the most reasonable way to compare the value of hotel stays, to flights, to cashback. And the way we calculate the cent per point value is taking the cash value of the redemption and dividing that by the number of points used multiplied by 100. So for example, if you use 10,000 points for a flight that is priced at $100, $100 divided by 10,000 points gives you a cent per point value of 1. Now on Chase's website, they state that as a general rule of thumb, 1 point equates to 1 cent in redeemable value, aka 1 cent per point. However, you will see throughout this video that the value will fluctuate depending on how you choose to redeem your points. And so as I go through the 9 different redemption options available, I will make sure to quantify the average cent per point value you can expect to get. Typically, redeeming points at 1 cent per point is considered baseline. In golf, this is the equivalent to more or less a bogey. Less than 1 cent per point value is bad. We're talking double and triple bogeys here. And anything over 1 cent per point is good. Think pars, birdies, and in some cases, even eagles. Now with that said, the cent per point value should not be the end-all be-all in making your decision, because the metric doesn't account for outside factors like how you in particular value certain experiences and the opportunity costs of choosing one option over another. Now one last thing I want to mention before we dive in specifically with Chase Ultimate Rewards points is that if you have multiple Chase credit cards, you can easily combine your points and then redeem your points through one credit card. Typically, you would want to move your points from Freedom cards to higher tier cards like the Chase Sapphire cards or the Ink Business Preferred, because these cards actually give you more value for your points. For example, the Sapphire Preferred and the Ink Business Preferred gets you 25% more value when you redeem points for travel, and the Chase Sapphire Reserve gets you 50% more value when you redeem your points for travel. But I'll talk about that more in depth when we get there. So to start, when you go to the Chase Ultimate Rewards portal, there are 3 different redemption categories: convert to cash, shopping and experiences, and travel. And within these categories, there are more specific redemption options available, and so let's first dive into converting points to cash. The first and easiest way to convert your points to cash is through cashback redemption. With this option, $1 is equal to 100 points, meaning the points convert at a rate of 1 cent per point. And so my 118,000 points here can be redeemed for $1,180, and this can either be redeemed for a statement credit or deposited directly into a checkings or savings account. I would say the statement credit is only a good option if you're in credit card debt and therefore need to lower your statement balance as much as possible. Otherwise, the direct deposit option is probably the better choice if you're team cashback, because then that money goes straight into your bank account and you can decide how you want to use that money. While redeeming points for travel will typically get you a higher redemption value, as you'll see here in a bit, I personally think redeeming points for cashback is a solid credit card strategy if your plan is to invest the money and continue earning interest over the long run. However, if you plan on using your cashback redemption for random discretionary spending, there are definitely other redemption options of higher value. Now, the other option of converting points to cash is through what Chase calls its Pay Yourself Back program. This method allows you to redeem points for a statement credit at a redemption value similar to booking travel, but only for a few specific categories, depending on which Chase card you have. For example, as of the time of recording this video, if you have the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you can get 1.5 cents per point back in statement credits on donations made to select charities, and 1.25 cents per point back in statement credits on purchases at gas stations, pet supply stores and services, wholesale clubs, and the card's annual fee. However, for the Sapphire Preferred, the Chase Freedom cards, and the Ink Business cards, you can only get 1.25 cents per point back in statement credits on donations made to select charities. Personally, while I think it's cool that Chase allows you to get a higher redemption value from donations made to select charities, I don't think this is the best way to redeem your points. Now, it is important to keep in mind that the categories do change every now and then, but again, I think there are better alternatives for redeeming your points. Now, the second category we can redeem Chase Ultimate Rewards points is through what Chase calls shopping and experiences. There are 5 redemption options within this category, with the first being using points for gift cards. At a baseline, you will get a 1 cent per point value through this redemption option, with the opportunity to get a slightly higher value from any ongoing promotions. For example, you can see from this on sale section that right now 2,250 points can get you a $25 gift card at Instacart, which gives you a 1.11 cent per point value. I would say this redemption option is only worth it though if 1, there's a promotion for a brand or restaurant that you were already planning to purchase from, or 2, you want to get a gift card as a gift for someone else at a slight discount. Otherwise, you're just trying to take advantage of a discount for something you don't really need, which, if you really think about it, means you're wasting your hard-earned points. The second redemption option within the shopping and experiences category is paying with points, meaning you use points to pay for orders at Amazon.com and or PayPal. While this may sound nice, if you look at the fine print, you can see that when redeeming through this method, each point is worth 0.8 cents, which is below the baseline value of 1 cent per point mentioned earlier. It would be better to just redeem your points for cash back at 1 cent per point and use some of that money to buy whatever you need from Amazon or send a payment through PayPal. This is by far the worst way to redeem your points, and I wouldn't recommend anyone to ever redeem their points with this option. I've seen people on social media redeem their points through Amazon because it's convenient and makes them feel like they're buying things for free, but in reality, they're devaluing their points by at least 20% and essentially getting ripped off. Now, the third option in the shopping and experiences category is redeeming points to buy Apple products within the Apple Ultimate Rewards store. You will typically find 1 cent per point redemption value through this option, but will sometimes get more value through temporary bonus offers or promotions. For example, at the time of recording this video, they are offering a 15 to 25% bonus if you have the Chase Sapphire Preferred, and a 35 to 50% bonus if you have the Chase Sapphire Reserve. And so if you are currently targeted for the 15% bonus, instead of having to use 99,900 points to buy this iPad Pro, you will only need to spend 86,869 points. Similarly to the gift card option, it can sometimes make sense to take advantage of good promotional offers like this one if you've been eyeing a new iPhone or MacBook for a while, but keep in mind that there are other redemption options, mainly through travel, that can get you even better redemption value. The fourth option in the shopping and experiences category is Chase Dining, which allows you to order takeout, find exclusive reservations, and book culinary experiences. As you can see, you can book wineries and tasting rooms, make reservations at renowned Michelin star restaurants, and visit some of the best rooftop bars in your area. You will typically receive a 1 cent per point redemption value with this option, but from time to time may find promotional offers that get you 1.25 or even 1.5 cent per point value. Again, with this promotional offer, it's only good to take advantage of them if you were already planning on dining at a certain place. Otherwise, you're ultimately just being incentivized to use your points for discretionary activities that weren't really top of mind to begin with. And the fifth option in the shopping and experiences category is experiences, which allows you to redeem points toward tickets to live entertainment, sporting events, private dining experiences, and more. However, at the time of recording this video, they only have one option for Outside Lands, a music festival in San Francisco that gives you a redemption value of 1 cent per point. Now, the number and quality of the events change time to time and differ depending on the card you own, but this is also a redemption option that I personally don't find much value in. And now lastly, the third category to redeem points is travel, which typically gets you the highest redemption value. There are 2 ways to redeem points for travel, either booking through the Chase Travel portal or transferring your points to Chase's travel partners. Keep in mind, however, that you do need to have either the Sapphire Reserve, Sapphire Preferred, or Ink Business Preferred in order to be eligible to transfer your points to partners. Let's first go over redeeming points to book travel through the Chase portal, as this is the easier way to redeem for most people. First things first, if you have the Sapphire Preferred or Ink Business Preferred, you automatically get a 25% points boost when you choose this redemption option, meaning each point is worth 1.25 cents. Now, if you have the Sapphire Reserve, you get a 50% points boost where each point is worth 1.5 cents. So if, let's say, you have 100,000 Chase points in your account with the Sapphire Preferred or Ink Business Preferred, those points in the portal are actually worth $1,250 instead of the standard $1,000 value. And with the Sapphire Reserve, those points in the portal are worth $1,500. Now let's go over transferring your points to Chase's airline and hotel partners. So Chase has a partner network that includes multiple airlines and hotel chains where you can transfer your Chase Ultimate Rewards points to any of Chase's partners' own respective points currency at a 1-to-1 rate. Transferring Ultimate Rewards points to travel partners is often considered the most valuable way to redeem your points because unlike the Chase Travel Portal, where your points are capped at 1.25 or 1.5 cents per point depending on the card you own, the cent per point value you can get transferring points to partners can get you 2, 5, and sometimes even 10 cents per point. Now with that said, you usually get those top tier cent per point values when you redeem for premium travel like first or business class international flights or luxury hotels, which I know not everyone prioritizes. Now, before I go through a few examples, let's first quickly go through how to actually transfer Chase points to partners. You first want to log into your Chase account and navigate to the Ultimate Rewards portal. Under the travel dropdown, choose Transfer Points to Partners. You will then see a list of transfer partners as well as any current transfer bonuses available. Now, you always get more value when transfer bonuses are offered, so you should definitely try to take advantage of them, but you also need to keep in mind that once you transfer Chase points to a travel partner, those points cannot be then transferred back to Chase. And so I typically advise not to transfer Chase points until you find a specific use for them. Now, once you have a specific use, select a transfer partner, link your loyalty account number for the program that you're transferring to, select the number of Ultimate Rewards points you want to transfer in 1,000 point increments, and then submit the transfer. The points will transfer pretty instantly for most partners, but note for some travel partners, it can take up to 2 business days. So now you may be asking which of the 2 options, redeeming travel through the Chase portal or transferring points to partners, is a better way to redeem points? Well, the answer is it depends. Generally for flights, if you're an economy flyer, it's best to check both options because for some flights, you will actually get greater value booking through the travel portal than transferring out your points to airline partners. For example, if we look at this United flight from O'Hare to LAX, we can see the price for an economy seat is $163.47, which is the same as the price on Chase's travel portal. If we were to use United miles, we would need to use 13,800 miles in addition to paying $5.60 in taxes. So to calculate the cent per point value, we would subtract $5.60 from the cash price of the flight of $163.47 and divide that by the number of miles used, which is 13,800 miles. This gives us a cent per mile value of 1.14, and since the transfer to United is 1-to-1, that's 1.14 cents per Chase point in value as well. Now going back to the Chase portal, because I have the Sapphire Preferred, I only need to use 13,078 Ultimate Rewards points to book the same $163.47 economy flight, which gives me that 1.25 cent per point value. And so in this example, it would be better economically to book this flight through the travel portal since I could use fewer points for the same flight. Now again, this won't be the case all the time, so it's crucial to check both options, mainly when you're flying economy. Now, if you prefer to fly in style either in business or first class, then you will majority of the time get way more value by transferring your Ultimate Rewards points out to airline partners. For example, if we look at this Iberia business class round trip flight from Chicago to Madrid and back during off-peak dates, we can see this would cost $5,949 if paid in cash. However, you can book this flight with just 68,000 avios plus $294.10 in taxes and fees, giving you a whopping cent per point value of 8.32. If we compare that to booking the flight on the Chase travel portal, we would need to use 478,152 points for the same flight. Now with hotels, if you're looking to stay at IHG or Marriott hotels, you will typically find a better value through the Chase portal than transferring out to those hotel partners. Now, Hyatt, on the other hand, is Chase's one travel partner where you pretty consistently get greater value when transferring points rather than booking on the Chase travel portal. This is because Hyatt uses a compact award chart, unlike Marriott and IHG, which use dynamic award pricing strategies that are based on real-time supply and demand. So to provide an example, let's say you wanted to spend a night in my hometown of Chicago, Illinois at the Park Hyatt, a Category 6 hotel. If we look in early December on the points calendar page, we can see this is an off-peak date, and so you would only need to use 21,000 Hyatt points to spend the night in a standard room. The standard rate after taxes and fees for the same room on both the Hyatt website and the Chase travel portal is $710. And so if we divide $710, which is the cash value of the redemption, by the 21,000 Hyatt points needed to book the room, that gets us a cent per point value of 3.38. Moving over to the Chase travel portal, we can see here that we can book the same room for $710 or 56,822 ultimate rewards points, giving us a cent per point value of 1.25 with the Chase Sapphire preferred. And so with this example, you can see very clearly the much higher value you can get by transferring points over to Hyatt. Now, as I briefly mentioned earlier, two things that you should always keep in mind are: one, what is considered valuable to you, and two, what is the opportunity cost of your decision. For example, maybe you prefer to use your points for lower end hotels and economy flights so that you can go on more trips, even though you typically get higher redemption value on first or business class flights. Oftentimes, the opportunity cost of using points for one international first class flight can actually be 3, 4, or 5 economy flights. For me, flying first or business class isn't a huge priority unless I'm traveling for a specific occasion, because I'd rather use those same amount of points to book both my flight and hotel stay. And so it's really important that you redeem in the ways that you find the most value in, rather than simply trying to redeem for the highest cent per point value every time. Ultimately, as long as you're redeeming your points through transfer partners at a minimum value of 1.5 cents per point or higher, you're still getting great value. With all that said, in order to redeem points for travel, you need to first earn those points, whether that be through high sign-up bonuses or great reward multipliers. And so be sure to click this video here to find the 10 best travel credit cards in 2024. That's all for this video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.